Hey lovelies. So I'm doing my second dueling deck dialogue this evening, and I've been working tonight with more spare or spacious decks, in that these are decks whose imagery feels like it has a lot of room around it, literally often. Like I was looking at the Line Strider Tarot in my last video, where there's all of this white space, big margin. But all four of the decks that I've been thinking about tonight, including the two I'm about to look at right now, they have a kind of openness to them. So why am I doing these deck dialogues? It's all in the service of the Drop 'em 78 Tarot Challenge for the Mindful Tarot community, where we're going to be going through a single deck. We each pick our own deck, one deck, for the last 78 days of the year, starting October 15th with the Ace of Pentacles, moving through the Pentacles, then through the Wands, then through the Cups, then through the Swords, and then diving into the Fool's Journey, ending up on December 31st with the World. So how to pick a deck, you know, how to pick a deck to go steady with, my deck prom date, right? The deck dialogue is a method for doing that. Now, the idea behind this deck dialogue work is to really be as open-ended as we can be. So, you know, asking a deck to just tell us what it has to offer, what it wants to give to us, and seeing what comes back, and then feeding back our understanding to the deck and seeing how it confirms or disconfirms, how it elaborates, paraphrasing what we think we've heard from the deck as a way of refining and defining our own heart, right? Getting closer, narrowing in. So it's as open-ended a form of reading as I know. Okay, here's where you come in. So I'm going to show you two decks. I'm going to do a deck dialogue with two decks, and then eager to hear which of the two you think is more resonant for me at this time, and which you think maybe gives the most juice, or that seems to touch me right now more fully. I'm going to start with the Spacious Tarot. This is a deck, Carrie Mallon's deck. I really, Carrie Mallon. I get my Carries confused. This is a deck that I really admire, and I'm really interested in it partly too because of the new expansion pack that they've put out, which is sort of turning this deck into a Minchiate. And if I were to do this deck for my challenge, then I would follow up with looking at the Minchiate, the expansion cards, and thinking about the Minchiate system, which would allow me to look at some traditional Minchiate decks, including, I have one kickstarted that at some point will arrive. I think it's pretty delayed, but also the Spolia Tarot, which is a deck that I really admire, but I've never worked with, even though it's been sitting in my collection forever. Not forever, but oops, just dropped a deck card. Five of Cups, okay. What has held me back a little bit with making the Spacious Tarot a really regular deck for me is actually its cardstock, which is a little bit too stiff. Although I also like stiff cardstock sometimes, but this, unlike some of the like US Games stiff cardstock, this one really doesn't want to riffle shuffle so much, which is okay, but, riffle shuffling can bend the cards. As I look at the injury that I just did. But it's a beautiful deck, and it gives incredibly good readings. I've used it mostly with clients, where it's just been like fucking brilliant. Okay, the Spacious Tarot. You know, and the premise of this deck is really to give us the space around the meaning of the card. No human figures, no agents, but to allow us to have the space for meaning to take place. Spacious Tarot. What do you want to show me? Okay, yeah. You know, I got the world last night with the acacia bow. Okay, so how it is that I can hold it all together. You know, the world, the sense of consummation of really of the end point of that journey from the little self to the big self. And in this deck, that feeling of it being a kind of open, like the pupil of an eye, an open space surrounded by a horizon, surrounded by light, surrounded by stars. And yeah, I like how the constellations here echo the 4 figures, the zodiac figures in the Waite-Smith tradition. So are you saying you want to help me gain access to that whole, that wholeness, but also that whole, H-O-L-E, that aperture that allows me to dive deep into the pool of the unconscious, into the pool of my understanding? Are you wanting to give me access to that huge and vast void, that space? This is such a deep card, actually. This really understands what's at stake in the imagery of the O, both the 0 of the Fool and then the O that's formed in the wreath surrounding the Anima Mundi, who is the dancer in the world. Is that what you're saying? You want to give me access into that huge, vast emptiness? Yeah, and really in a very incisive way. This reminds me of a card I just drew in my last Dueling deck dialogue, the Page of Swords from the Raven's Prophecy. You want to help me come to a point here, yeah, to really be able to do that work of understanding. It's funny how the swords are really playing up here. My talisman of the day is, oh no, I'm sorry. It's not. It's the Knight of Cups. I was thinking that it was the Page of Swords. So never mind. But swordsiness definitely makes sense for me. Okay. So, yeah, so a kind of incisive helping me to understand, to come to a point. Is that where we are? But here we have another Page of Pentacles, basically. Yeah. I just, in my last reading, got that. Yeah, so also how to be grounded and to be at the very beginning of things. How delightful, how different this image of the Page of Pentacles is than the Page of Coins as it appears in Maggie Stiefvater's Raven Prophecy deck, which I just drew a few minutes ago in my last video. Okay, so that seems really clear. You know, you want to help me get into the space of the void, of the big access into the unconscious, into the deep reservoir of meaning and self, helping me create understanding and meaning, and yet to also have some of that childlike, not to be too ponderous here, right? The Child of Pentacles. My Homer card, right? The Daughter of Pentacles, Homer, my dog. Are you going to give me that lightness? Is that what you're suggesting? Ooh, you're going to help me balance the two, because I tend to be either fire or water, and you're like, okay, no, we're going to help you get some balance between those two. Okay, fair enough. Spacious Tarot. My other really spacious deck that I want to look at in this Dueling deck dialogue is the Wayhome Tarot, which is an amazing reader. I almost exclusively also use this for clients and have had some incredible experiences like the Spacious Tarot, where the readings are just crystal clear. And this has some of the cleverest cards I I know in modern tarot, it's rendition of like the Eight of Cups, for instance, is just so powerful. Is it the Eight of Cups or is it the Seven of Cups? See, now I want to find it. Oh well, I think it's the Eight of Cups. I'll find it. I'll find it and then add it to the end of this video. Okay. Yeah, I feel myself being a little shaky right now. Again, this today has been an intense day. It's been an intense few days. So just anchoring myself and asking the Wayhome Tarot, what do you want to teach me? Okay, so the Son of Wands. So this is the Knight of Wands, right? And I got it reversed. I love the court cards, these silhouettes that are filled with elements. And so it is that ability to spark forth. Now, he's not active as the Knight of Wands. I've gotten a lot of Knight of Wands lately. He's not active as the traditional Knight of Wands. He's not in motion. None of these court cards are really in motion. But the volcano is letting off a lot of steam. There is movement here. There's combustion. It's happening from the second chakra up, and that's often how I think of my energy. That it comes from that second chakra, like, you know, and that it's moving up. It's branching forth into this wand, into this ability to engage the world creatively and forcefully. So it was reversed. You're saying you want to help me do that, yeah? Or this is blocked in me, you're going to help me understand that, help me work with my Wands night energy. Okay, by activating the King of Cups. Knight of Cups here. Activating the King of Cups, okay. Really setting down roots, feeling really nourished. You know, I do that roots and canopy spread that's all about, a 2-card spread that's all about finding my roots and like spreading up, expanding, being able to move from that air of water here, right? The King of Cups, the Father of Cups, very much about being able to be rooted and yet also completely in flow. I'm trying to see, yeah, there's like tree energy in there. Huh. It's very green for the Father of Cups. So am I understanding this? You know, we've got a kind of block Knight of Wands, so a sense of how to activate that energy, and you're saying, okay, it's going to be through the expansive mastery of the spiritual watery realms. How does that work exactly? Am I understanding? Am I understanding what you're saying, and how does that work? Nine of Swords. By encountering the inner smoke and fire, the inner anguish, by standing up to that. Nines have been really prominent for me in the deck dialogues I've been doing. So there's a sense here that I'm like at the end of a cycle, and I'm kind of stuck in self. For me, nines are always very inward. So you're saying like, okay, you gotta, that anxiety, that turmoil of mind, heart, we gotta do something with that. But what are we gonna do? How does the King of Cups help with that? Are you the King of Cups? Am I the Nine of Swords? Son of Swords. Okay, so here we do have the Knight of Swords. A lot of court cards here, and this sense of the natural, this the natural force of air in its, that tornado. I can't remember what you call when you have a tornado right over the ocean. There's a special name for it, I think. Okay. So that was reversed. This isn't coming clear for me. I think what you're saying is that that there is this kind of you're saying I'm the Knight of Swords. I'm the Knight of Swords, which is producing this kind of Nine of Swords energy. Okay, I buy that. I am all Knight of Swords-y, right? I'm pushing forward fiery energy, but with this urge to understand and to penetrate and to know. And you're saying, are you saying, what are you saying? You're saying Father of Cups. You're saying that that is blocking my creativity? Are you going to help me release my creativity? Nine of Pentacles, reversed. Now, when I get multiple reverse cards, I start to think maybe it's just I'm holding the deck upside down and they're all in the right order. So I take it with a little grain of salt, but okay. You want to help me actually gather the harvest. Yeah, you want to help me gather the harvest. Is that right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, there we are. Six of Swords. So this was a very long deck dialogue, right? This deck, I mean, there are two ways to understand that. One way is to say, oh, this deck, there's stuff that's blocked here and it's going to be hard and it's not going to be really good for you and you're not right in sync with it. It's not the right place. The other way to think about this is there is a lot to explore here and to learn this deck's idiom, its language, but also it is taking you somewhere. And often with the longer deck dialogues where I feel like I'm not quite understanding what the deck is saying to me, often where it takes me is more profound. So this one took me to a place of, you know, my Knight of Swordsiness is actually what is making it hard for me to release the spark of creativity, which is the same spark of creativity that came up in my reading in my last video with that that Page of Swords from the Maggie Stiefvater's Raven Prophecy deck. And so this deck is trying to help me get to this place of releasing the swordsiness and finding a way to fruition. And it is suggesting a pathway to that has something to do with the King of Cups, with watery, the mastery of kind of the watery depths. And I just want to show you the Eight of Cups, which I think is just so, oh, this I mean, there's so many beautiful cards in this deck. It is a deck that I really admire. That Three of Cups with the sense of the pearl. The art style is beautiful. Yeah, this is a gorgeous deck, which I don't, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's compelling to me, but is it the one? Okay, so this, I got them, this is the Seven of Cups, this sense of choice. And the Eight of Cups is also, you'll see in a second, it's balanced like a spine. But this sense of the balance not quite being here. And then the Eight of Cups, oh no, it's the Ten of Cups. Fuck. Okay. Was there also the Eight of Cups? Now I have to, so there's a play on all of these balancings. Well, this is the Ten of Cups. But you see how it looks like a spine. So now everything is all balanced and aligned, which for someone, no, that's right. This is the Eight of Cups. They've all fallen and broken. For someone who sees balance and alignment as part of what mindfulness and meditation and tarot practice brings us, this is just a glorious card. Okay, I've talked for a long time. You've been very patient if you've made it thus far with me. Drop 'em 78. Consider joining the challenge. it will be a lot of fun. Join our Facebook page, join our community if you haven't. But in any event, thank you all so much for your practice. Thank you for joining me tonight.